When we turn off a game, what happens? The screen goes dark, the sounds fade, and we return to real life. We've always assumed one thing, that the game world stops with us, time freezes, characters vanish, everything switches to standby mode. But what if that's not the case? Until now, NPCs in games, non-playable characters, were really just collections of memorized lines. They didn't know us. They didn't remember what we did. For them, every day was the same day. The same sentences, the same reactions, the same facial expressions. Thousands of players may have come and gone, but for the NPC, it was always the first encounter. Now that order is quietly breaking. With artificial intelligence, NPCs are no longer just characters that were placed there. They can talk to you. They can remember your past behavior. And perhaps most importantly, they can change according to you. Two different people playing the same game are no longer living in the same world. Think about it for a moment. At the beginning of the game, you trick a villager, take their money, and leave. Hours later, in another town, an NPC hesitates while talking to you. They don't say anything directly, but there's uncertainty on their face. Because they recognize you, they don't trust you, and no one wrote this reaction for them. They learned it. This is the exact moment when a game stops being a story and turns into an experience. In the past, games had right choices and wrong choices. They had mission completed screens. Now there are only consequences. Every decision you make eventually comes back to find you. And this doesn't just change the narrative, it changes the characters themselves. In the future, when we enter games, what awaits us may not be more realistic graphics. It may not be bigger maps either. The real change might be worlds that continue to live even when we are not there. NPCs might get married while you're away, move to another place, or even learn to love or hate someone because of you. And perhaps the most unsettling possibility is this. NPCs won't always have to be honest. They'll be able to lie to you, they'll be able to manipulate you for their own benefit, they'll tell you only the part of the truth that suits them, because they will now be beings that can hide information. At that point, one question inevitably arises. If a character can feel fear, can remember, and can seek revenge, can we still say it's just a bunch of pixels when we treat them badly? Maybe AI-driven NPCs will tell us far more than games ever did. About who we are, about how we behave when we hold the power, about the choices we make when no one is watching. And one day, when we turn off a game, this thought might linger in our minds. I logged out. But what about them? Once upon a time, artificial intelligence in games was merely a background tool, a filter for graphics, a helper for animations, sometimes a resource for writing simple dialogue. Today, that perception is completely changing. The idea that NPCs could become characters with their own agency at the heart of games is no longer just a fantasy, but a development project. Take Ubisoft, for example. Building on an experiment they worked on last year with their own development team, Ubisoft has taken a new step. Their project called Teammates aims to add AI-powered companions for players who fight alone on screen. Not just bots that target enemies, but characters that react to your voice, generate improvised dialogue, and make joint decisions with you. Players were able to access this technology in limited testing, and their feedback is shaping the direction of development. This is just the beginning. With Ubisoft's new approach, NPCs will no longer only give quests. They will directly interact with the player, talk, react, and even call out to you to ask for cooperation. Ubisoft defines this idea as the narrative tools of the future, meaning moving beyond classic dialogue boxes and merging artificial intelligence with storytelling. So is this only the playground of big AAA studios? No, a Canada-based startup called Artificial Agency has been making headlines recently with the investments it has received. Working with engineers who previously worked on advanced AI projects like DeepMind, this company is focused on fundamentally changing NPC behavior. Normally, the responses given to an NPC are pre-written and limited, but the system developed by Artificial Agency gives this intelligence engine motivation. In other words, goals. The NPC is no longer just prepare, wait, talk. It acts according to its own objectives, interacting with you and shaping itself based on you. As this technology develops, a world where NPCs have evolving behavioral paths is not far away. And of course, it's not just one company working in this field. AI platforms like In-World AI provide infrastructure that helps game studios give NPCs memory, emotion, and personality. Some reports show that 88% of players believe AI-driven NPCs will make games more immersive. This demand for more real NPCs is not only growing in the imagination of developers, but also in the expectations of players. This idea, which may still seem confined to laboratories and experimental stages, is also drawing in hardware giants. For example, NVIDIA is working on a technology called ACE to transform NPCs from merely talking characters into beings that use their own plans and perceptions, meaning an NPC will not only generate dialogue, but will also be able to observe the world, determine strategies, and produce new behaviors based on the player's tactics. These developments raise another exciting question. Perhaps video games are no longer just entertainment mechanics, but interactive storytelling machines. Characters that react when you arrive, remember you, and change their behavior based on your decisions. This truly brings to life the idea of a living world often mentioned in RPGs. And think about it. Today, names like Ubisoft, NVIDIA, and In-World are experimenting with this technology. But what happens if in a few years it becomes a standard feature in mainstream games? NPCs will no longer stand out only with their graphics, but with their minds. Let's take one step further. Because artificial intelligence alone is a major transformation, but the real breakthrough begins when it merges with virtual reality. Today, when we play games, there's still a distance. We look at the screen, we hold the controller. When we turn off the game, everything ends. But virtual reality is gradually erasing that distance. We no longer just look at the game, we are inside the game. We look around, hear sounds according to their direction, and when we reach out our hands, we feel as if we are touching things. Now add artificial intelligence to this. The world you are in is no longer just visually realistic. It reacts, it learns, it knows you. A reality shaped according to you. The characters you encounter there remember your previous decisions. They know what kind of person you are, and they act accordingly. At this point, the concept of a game begins to lose its meaning, because a game is supposed to have a beginning and an end. It has a goal. You win or lose. But when artificial intelligence and virtual reality merge, what emerges may not be a game at all, but a living space. A place we enter and exit, spend time in, and form relationships. Imagine one morning putting on a VR headset. The world you enter doesn't greet you with a mission. It is simply alive. The people, real or virtual, are engaged with their own agendas. Some recognize you, some don't like you. Some want something from you, but they ask not as a quest, but as a need. And the most fascinating part is this. The time you spend in that world begins to matter to you. You accomplish things there. You help someone. You make someone's life more difficult. And all of this lingers in your mind even after you leave the game, because what you experience is not a scripted story. It's based on your actions. Perhaps in the future, people won't ask, "What did you play today?" They will ask, "Where were you today?" And perhaps even stranger. There will no longer be a clear line between real life and virtual life. They will feed into each other like two intertwined paths. One is a rehearsal for the other. The other is a reflection of the first. And then, an inevitable question arises. If the emotions you feel in a world are real, if the relationships you form change you, if the decisions you make you someone else, is it still just a game? Perhaps the games of the future won't offer us an escape. They will hold up a mirror to us, and one day, when we log out, we might think, "I left this world." But which one was real?